So Melissa looks like she's here, but she's not. She is actually headed to the mountains, and so it's going to be me tonight. I hope that's okay, but we've obviously planned it together, so we're excited. Tonight's going to be kind of like a workshop night where we're going to jump into the work, but of course, we're going to start off with some fun things too. So those of you that are here, let's just kick it off, and you guys can go right into the chat. And let's start off with our wow. Like, let's look at the whole month of June, right? What was something that was a win for you for the month personally? Maybe what was something for a win as a team? I know a lot of times I find myself really able to celebrate my team and everything they're doing, and I don't necessarily celebrate myself. I don't know if you guys ever find yourselves into that situation. But I really want to hear what you guys feel good about your own personal wins and have this be a place where you can celebrate yourselves. Because I think as leaders, we sometimes just don't do that. And it's important because we're leading ourselves before we're leading our team anyway. So we gotta celebrate our wins. So let's just start there. I think people will catch on that you guys are putting your wins of the week inside of there. And once they jump in, they'll just start joining us right away and we'll get going. I like being on time. My husband actually says, you like being on time, but you're often late. So I'm working on that. And man's like laughing at me. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. I almost wonder if it's a teacher thing because I'm like constantly pushing it to the very end of what I can get done. I was that mom that was walking out of the house and I was like picking up everything as we went out the house. And my husband's like, it'll all be here when we get back. I'm like, no, but I can do this tomorrow. He's like, and then we're late. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm going to put mine in there too. Again, like I said, I think it's hard to celebrate ourselves. So I have to really think about it. Come on in. Nice to see you guys when you come in, but go ahead and put your win of the month in here. It could be yours, it could be your team's, it could be a combination, but try really hard to celebrate yourself. Try really hard to celebrate yourself. I know it's tough, like we want to celebrate our teams, but remember if you're helping a team member get a quick start, you are celebrating your work that you did because it does take work for both people. It's not, it's definitely a teamwork thing when you're helping a new partner get a quick start. All right. And like I said, I want to start, and I know that July and summer months, people can start to kind of slowly disappear. We can get really busy. We can have vacations. We're at the heat, like we're at the front end of 4th of July. And I know a lot of people are taking the whole week. They're going on vacations and they might not be able to jump in here, but they're still watching the recording. So I hope that this recording tonight will help. It's going to be a little different tonight. We're going to do a lot more action, which is what we've been gearing up to do. We're officially only in week 4, if you guys can believe it, of this. That's it. I know, because as we were planning, we're like looking week 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, really? It's only week 4. It feels like a lot more than that. But really, this is only our 4th week. So, 90 days, we will finish this up right at the end of August, and July is a long month. So we got almost 5 full weeks, like 4.5 weeks in the month of July. So it really can be a long month, and we can get a lot out of July if we put work into the month of July. But before we jump into that, since it is such a small group, I actually am going to be okay with you guys unmuting because we don't even have 2 pages worth of people in here. I would love if anybody wants to elaborate on something that they were really excited about for the month of June, but maybe they didn't put it in, like anything at all that you're just like, oh, I'm just so excited about this, I have to share with somebody. Anybody at all? I know Shonda's worked her tail off. Zareta's been, in the background. I don't know as much about Zareta and what she's been doing, but anything at all. And some of
Hello,
us,
how are you?
hi, tell us. I'm good, Zareta. Tell us the good news.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, I had like kind of fallen off, but with the workshops and stuff, it really I'm looking at it as a job. Like I'm going to go work. The workshops have been helping me tremendously, and it's like things that I know what to do but don't. And then in the workshops, it's just like a refresher. And then I always take away something. It's either you, Melissa, or anybody on the team whenever they share like what they do, what they say. It can be like this smallest thing, but to me, that's my win. It's just being back and doing the work. And, I mean, going from not doing hardly anything, just because of life. Now I'm like, you know what? I know exactly where to put my time at. And then just meeting like on Mondays, I love it because I plan the week as to what I'm gonna do, what time, and so that's my
That's
win.
that's great. Like just even that alone, that's a huge win, right? Because
Yes.
so many times, like even today, I did not get to sit down and I did not get to like plan out my week. I literally felt like I was just, it felt like a fire hose today. It felt like there was just this fire hose of life and family and business and partners. And it was everything that I needed to work through. But I was like, oh, I need tonight. Like, I really need tonight to get focused here. So I appreciate you sharing that, Sarita. So jump in here, you guys. Put your win of the month last month in the chat. It's how we start off every single time. So even if you're late, it's something you can count on to ground yourself in what we're doing for the night. And we want to celebrate before we look at what do we need to work on. So the next thing I'm really curious about, I want everybody to blow up the chat. First question of the night, really quickly, so that we can get into the work, is I want to know what's your strength right now with conversation. When you've been trying the authentic outreach, what has been the strength? What's been going well? What have you appreciated? What have you been trying? Even if it's been uncomfortable, like what is going well with your conversations? And I am kind of talking about the authentic outreach. So if you're like me, and there have been days where you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't really used that script. I've kind of fallen back into like what I'm used to doing, which, we're trying something new. And the request was one message for authentic outreach a day to a hot lead, one for a like or a love, one for a value-based follow-up. It was just trying it out, right? It wasn't like you have to switch your whole thing, and it really shouldn't feel like much of a switch. It should feel more like a little tweak. So what has gone well? It doesn't have to be a result. It could be like, I did it, even though it was uncomfortable. I did it 3 days last week. I did it 4 days. I got people to respond to me that have never been talking to me. I felt like I could finally reach out to somebody who liked or loved my post. And before I wouldn't have done anything. That's a success, right? That you actually tried it. So just type it into the chat. And if anybody wants to unmute and share theirs out loud, let's do it because we're a small group tonight. I do not want to be the only one talking because that just gets old. I get done and I'm exhausted. I want you guys to be tired when we're done. I don't want to be the one that's tired.
Okay, and I'll share. I don't want to be the only, but here I go again. So
That's all
another
right,
thing that
Zareta.
I
What's been your strength with your conversations?
then and this is something that I had thought about doing, but I never really done it. And y'all mentioned it last week. Like pay attention who's liking, who's hearting, who's commenting, because they want to interact. If they're commenting on your stuff, like they want to, I don't know, like interact and stuff. And that's something that has always been at the back of my mind. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, but then I'm like, well, they're showing me love and they're commenting, that's being rude for me not to, reply something. So by me doing that, I've started engaging more. And then that just leads to, of course, wellness, health, and it just opens up conversation. So that has been my strength so far.
That's awesome. So I hear willingness to try it. And your mindset is actually that, well, if they've taken the time to like, love, or comment, then I should take the time to go send them a message. Like, how hard is that? And it may or may not go anywhere, but you've at least reciprocated the love. And I really like how you said that because then that doesn't feel weird and awkward. It feels kind, generous. You're leaving people better than how you found them. And that's our motto, right? So I think a lot of times it is our mindset. I know, and Melissa shared with me, and I know Kim Ann has experience with this probably way more than I do, like reaching out to people that I've never talked to. Like it's really uncomfortable. I feel really awkward about it. I don't like it. It feels spammy and icky and ugh. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute. They are liking and loving. So there's something that I'm giving them that they're appreciating, or they would just scroll on past and be like, I don't want to see her stuff anymore. So I'm not going to like or love it. It really has shifted my thinking. Now, I'm also with you, Shonda. I have not been very consistent. And I'll tell you a little bit as to why. And this is going to get into our struggle. So you guys can start putting your struggle down too. This has been my struggle with conversation. When we are a leader and we are helping others build their quick starts and get their first 30 days off and running, and we then want to continue to help them build their depth in their
That's just
team,
empty box.
what we start doing, unfortunately, is it's good and bad. We are the right mindset that we're trying to help somebody else build their team, but sometimes in doing that we stop taking care of our own level one enrollments. And then we'll see, our volume will grow, but we don't have our own inception volume. And there's this like weird, wonky balance between the two. And when you are in the beginning stages of being a leader, if you can start this now, I can only say that because I'm like having to learn it along the way. If you can start now remembering that you need to feed yourself before you can feed others, that's going to help you to make sure that you are consistently growing while you're helping them grow too. The second thing I would want you to try to remember is that the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And if you're not enrolling and you're not modeling, showing that you are growing, it actually creates lack of trust because then they start doubting, can you get me to where I want to be? Because you're not enrolling either. Now, a lot of times as leaders, we don't want to shout ourselves out. It's the same thing. If you don't share what you're doing or somebody else isn't sharing what you're doing with your team, then you're stuck in this position of like shouting yourself out. But if you don't shout yourself out, then it's silence or crickets in your conversation when you meet with your team or you have your team chats, however you've got it structured. So they have to know what you're doing and what you're excited about so that they can feel that momentum too. So, two reasons. If you want to continue to grow your own level one, which is super important, you have to be doing these things at your own bare minimum at least or else they won't. And if you're not well practiced at these and become more comfortable with with reaching out or with your posting of your content, it's going to be harder for you to help a new partner to do that. Because guess what? They're going to come to you and say, "What do I post today?" And if you don't know what you're going to post, how are you going to help them to know what they're going to post? Well, what do I send to my friend that just asked me blank? Well, if you're not practicing sending out messages to all those people that liked and loved your posts, how are you going to help your new partner go send out messages to who likes and loves their posts? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So you really, it's kind of like I said to Melissa today, I'm just going to be very transparent. I said, I almost feel like a fraud teaching tonight, coaching tonight, having this workshop tonight. And she was like, well, why do you feel like a fraud? And I go, because I'm struggling too. She's like, then you're just in it, just like everybody else. I'm like, okay, that helped me. Like, I needed to hear that. I needed somebody else to say, no, wait a minute. You are doing it, but you just don't feel like you're doing it at the level that you expect of yourself. I said, yes, that's right. But I am doing it, just not quite to where I want to be. And remember when we started this, we said we're doing this together. It's not like Melissa and I have this down pat. We don't ever want you guys to think that. But I will tell you this, when we are leaders and we're helping other people, we're constantly in conversations with others, constantly. So we're modeling, we're showing, we're guiding, we're encouraging. My caution to you guys, though, with new partners as you're bringing them on, or maybe you're building them, is you've got to make sure that you are setting aside a time for you to build your business. They've got to know that, and it's okay for you to I've had to say to my new partners sometimes, "I'm gonna go work on some of my follow-ups, and then I'm gonna go work on some of yours." I've literally told them that. And I think it's okay, right? Because then they know I have a business. I'm still building my own business, but I am gonna help you build yours too. So it's kind of like mom, if we always feed the kids and we're the last ones to eat, and I know leaders eat last, but you still got to eat. You still got to eat. So if you're not saving that time, so that's been my struggle with conversation. Will you guys put it into the chat? What's been your struggle with the conversation? Is it something different? Is it the same? Is it getting into the routine? Is it time organization, time management? Is it, structuring your day? Is it just that it's uncomfortable? What is it? I don't want to put words in your mouth. So pop into the chat, and there is no judgment here. Obviously, I've just told you guys I felt like a fraud before I jumped on here. So, like, we're all in it together. So, what's your struggle with trying to use this new authentic conversation, talking to people who like, love, or comment, or maybe even an unengaged lead? Structuring your day. Fill up the chat. We're not alone in here. Everybody should be typing something in. Yeah, crazy day. So many people to talk to. You're right. You're absolutely right. Like sometimes I'm looking at my chat, I'm like, okay, where do I start? Or I use Trello. Like where do I begin? And so I think it is important that we share out what could help us with these things. And we anticipated that some of this would be the struggle. So, like I said, we're going to get into action because I do think when we just get into action and we get the wheel turning and we get better practice, then we can start working on some of those other things. And we'll come back to some of these, and maybe a few people that are on can kind of share what they do. I have a few ideas, but again, I'm not perfect at it either. So we're actually going to jump right into conversation. It's early in the evening still. We can get into some conversations. You guys should have in front of you that document. I didn't do the screenshots today. I might be able to find them, but I was going to pull up the core four and just go straight to those authentic reach outs. Let me see if I can. I don't think I have those screenshots where I can just share them with you guys because I did that last week, but I don't don't think I have them. Let me go see in my Google Doc. Until then, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up this core 4. I'm going to share that. Maybe you guys can tell me in the chat, did you print off your documents so you would have those in front of you so you could look at them? Because we are going to get right into going out and doing some of this authentic content or authentic outreach. So some of you may not have been able to watch the Zoom recording, so I'm just going to catch you up really quickly. We talked about the core 4, which is making a post, outreach to hot leads, people that comment on your posts, warm leads, people that like or love your posts, or non-engaged leads. Those are people that you know, but they're not interacting at all on your content, but you'd really like to work with them. You'd really like to get into a conversation. They are your Facebook friend, but they don't ever show up, and they are somebody that you know that you would really like to make conversation with. Quite often you can find them in your list of friends, of your oldest friends first, and you can sort your friends list on Facebook by your oldest friends first. They're the people that have been around since you started your Facebook account. So typically speaking, they are people that you know better. Now, for me personally, 5 years later, I will be honest, I don't know those people nearly as well as I used to, but I could strike up a conversation. So and then the value-based follow-ups are going to be people that you're already in a conversation with, right? Those are prospects or people that you've been talking to that have said, yes, I'm open to taking a look. I want to know more. Tell me what you have. Or they flat out have told you, I need to lose weight. I want to feel better. That's a value-based follow-up. But what we're going to start with tonight is authentic outreach to your hot leads. And then I haven't asked you guys how you've done with the Core 4 tracker, because really, truly, what you just told me already told me that this Core 4 tracker is probably pretty blank. You probably haven't really marked off a whole lot because you're trying to get the wheel turning and get into the consistency. So if you haven't really gotten into the authentic conversations, you're not really going to be able to mark this off, except for maybe the posting. Okay. And then we're going to skip over content. We're going to go right over here to the authentic outreach to hot leads. These are people that commented on your singular type posts, either something that you shared where it was a tip that had to do, maybe you might not have mentioned product. It could have literally just been about a tip to lose weight, a tip to a jumpstart, a tip for healthy living, anything of value, but it had to do with what we do. Or proof could have been a testimonial, and somebody made a comment on the testimonial. They might have even said, congratulations. That's a general comment, but they did comment and they're not a customer. Okay, this is new people. And invitation content is, and this could be business related posts, right? An invite to take a look at your business. It could be an invite to join an 8-day jumpstart that you're going to do, whatever kind of posting you guys have done. So we're going to go to hot leads. Some of them might be in your Facebook group, but that's what we're going to focus on, is people that commented on your posts. So this can be anybody that commented in the last 14 days. You could do the full month of June, but I would go with the most recent days. That they're going to be your hotter leads. It doesn't make sense to go back too far right now for tonight, but you're just going to start it off. If they did a general comment, right? You're starting it off with, thanks for time to comment on my post, blank the other day. I'm curious, what are you doing in this area for yourself? If they did a related comment, right? You're going to reference the comment that they made. You're going to be asking them, like, I appreciate your perspective. I'd love to hear more. Or it's a common problem. How long has it been an issue for you? These are in the scripts that we gave you guys. Does anybody want the link to that? And you could pull it up and have it or print it. I mean, we shared it in the chat last week. And then a comment expressing interest, right? Like they've raised their hand, they kind of want to know more. Then you're going to actually say, thanks so much for that comment. I'd love to share some information, but can I ask you why you're interested? We a lot of times want to just shove information down their throat. Ask why they'd like to know more. What is it that that's their goal, right? A lot of times I'll say, so are you looking more for wellness, weight loss, or gut health? That's in my fast chat, my boards. But this is more of, could I ask why you're interested? It's a little bit more friendly, honestly, but it is direct. And then the other kind of outreach is where they just liked or loved it. This is more of a warm lead, not a hot. And you ask, how have you been? And then you're going to make conversation, right? I'm curious, what are you currently doing in this area right now? Or what made you like or love the post? Was there anything specific? And then that's where we're going to start uncovering their problem. Now, they may or may not reply back to you, or you guys might have started this already with somebody else, but you haven't gone back to them and asked them some more questions. Maybe you're in the middle of the conversation and you need to go work on that conversation, but it came from a post. So these are some things that you can ask. You're not going to ask all three. You're going to ask one question and start unpacking. Like it's like peeling back the onion to the layer or the layers of the onion. You want to assess their needs. So what's their biggest challenge is a question you could ask. Is it something you've struggled with in the past? What are some of the things that you've tried before that have worked? This is in my fast chat, in my boards. This is exactly how we run our conversations. We find out what their goals are. We share a little bit about our story, and then we ask some questions to find out what they need. Because sometimes they want to hear our story for them to be more comfortable to share their own. And then we simply have to ask, thanks for sharing with me. Would you like some help in this area? Once they say yes, I definitely want some help in this. Now it's open and you can start, peeling back the layers even more. Tell them more about your story. This is what I do. And now let's look at what this is. Do you guys have any questions on how the flow of the authentic outreach is going to go? Put them in the chat if you do. Oh, yes, please, for the link, they say. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. All right. That should be where you guys can see it. You guys got to print this off. And then you might want to start, we put it in boards. If you guys have boards, you guys have this flow. You guys have this. Where's the board? It's in our Experienced Rising Stars board, which everybody should have by now. And I put it right in the front under Authentic Outreach. And thanks to Kaylee, she's updated it. So you go to Hot Leads, which is your comments. Here's your opening messages. These are 3 that you can choose from. That starts the conversation. Then here's some questions that you could ask. If you select this whole thing, you would delete the ones you don't want to ask and keep the one that you do. And then, thank you for sharing. Would you like some help in this area? If they say, sure, I would love that, then you can say, well, that's awesome. Because one of the things I do in my business is help women who are struggling with whatever their problem is. And I have a product that I think could really help you. Would you be open to taking a look at that? For me, I just say, would you like some help in this area? And they say yes. And I start asking more questions so that I can figure out what they need. So that's right there in boards. Then your warm leads is right here. They liked or loved a post. It looks like we probably need to update our board here a little bit more so that it has that same flow as the hot lead, but it's real similar. You can start with this one and then you could go back to the hot leads. We'll have to get that a little bit better flow for you guys. So right now, I want to jump into this because we've already been on here for 30 minutes, just trying to catch people up. We're going to take 15 minutes right now and we're going to actually go, me included. You should have your list of who you've been talking to so that you can go back to that same list. However, you keep that organized is up to you. But we did give you guys some tools that you could use. And then you're going to want to, we're going to come back in about, we'll say 10 minutes just because of the time. But for 10 minutes, we're actually going to go use these scripts. Any questions for that? I will take, but I want to give everybody the time. That's okay, Edwina, no big deal. All right, 10 minutes on the clock. So, quick question. How many, at least opening outreaches, were you able to send for your content that they commented or liked? Just drop your number. Was it one? Did you do one hot lead, one warm lead? Where are you guys at? Wow, Kim, that's awesome. Can you unmute Kim and tell us like how did that feel to just take 10 minutes and be able to send out 11 hot lead quick outreaches? Like how was that for you?
Amazing. I feel like I am just all over the place with job, life, ministry, everything else. And so to get focused time is awesome. But so often I don't set that timer and just go, And so I hear people talk about, like my mentor always talks about, her power hour. And I'm thinking power hour, I like get started and then I'm running over here to these leads and then I'm jumping over here to this post. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot about her. And to just focus on hot leads, look at your last post, who commented about Singular or put a like and just go for it. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And I'm changing a word. I'm
Of
changing their
course.
name. I'm throwing in something that's a little personal, like a couple of words, but that's it. And it's like, bam, I'm reaching out to people I haven't talked to in 10 years, 20 years, but we've commented on each other's stuff on Facebook forever. So, I mean, I love her. She loves me. Why not? So, yeah, I think
Right.
it's just like focus.
So what I heard you just say is like, I'm not the only leader. You're not the only leader that struggles with this, right? We both do. We can get really distracted. But if we can just set a timer for 15 minutes. So this is what a core 4 power hour looks like. You do 15 minutes of authentic outreach for your hot leads, and then you do 15 minutes for your warm leads. Then you do 15 minutes for your value-based follow-ups. And then you do 15 minutes to make sure you have a content ready to go for the next day. And you're done. And it's 1 hour. But just hearing like 11 people that you just reached out to, you literally just put in your funnel, right? They're now in your funnel. They weren't in your funnel before, but they're now in your funnel because you now have a message with them. So what is the whole goal here? The outreach, the content generates leads. The leads are only there if you actually go send the message. Otherwise, they're just nice. They're just people that are hanging out there. So I love that you shared that because I'm dealing with the same issue. And I'm sure everybody else that's on here and people that are watching the recording are thinking, okay, it's not just me. We're all kind of feeling that way. So time management was something that you guys, a lot of you commented, right? Do you think that you could say, okay, I might not have a full hour, like Shonda says, I might not have a full hour, but I know between appointments, I have 15 minutes. So I'm going to ignore all the other messages that everybody else wants me to answer. And I'm just going to take 15 minutes to fill my funnel and go send hot lead messages. Just going to go start it. Hot leads. I'm going to write them down on my list. I know I sent them out, and then I can look at my list later if I need to organize it in my organizational system, but I'm going to have them written down. Could you guys do your core 4-hour in 15-minute chunks throughout your day? Could you do a 15 in the morning? Could you do 15 at lunch and just set the timer? Because an hour for me is hard. Like, I don't know that I always have an hour where it's uninterrupted because I'm also a nanny. So can you guys drop in the chat, what are the chunks of time in your day that you could slate 15 minutes? Everybody's life is different. Put it in the chat. When, just in general, in your life, could you fit this around your life for 15 minutes? Type it in the chat because this is going to help build your time organization. And it's crickets. Nobody knows when they can fill in their time. Oh, there they go. Just with a delay. Lunch break after work. Ooh, Zareta did
Andrea, I'm
7.
gonna just tell you instead of topics is too long. But I'm gonna do maybe 5 minutes like here or 10 minutes there or or 15 minutes there. Because my days are just differently each day, I'm caring, for my daughter.
I get it.
And plus, my mom too now. Anyway, my time is just all over the place.
I
So
think
if
as
I
long
could,
as you stay true, Cree, to say I'm going to take 15 minutes. And if you know you only did 5, then the next time you come back, you're doing 10 and you finish that up. I think that's great.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, just try to get in 15 for each. So at the end of the day, you had an hour so that you can go back to that tracker and you can like mark it down. And 7 o'clock in the evening is what Zareta is saying. Okay. For me, I'm a nanny. So he like takes naps. And then when I get home, my challenge is, you guys, and you tell me if any of you do this as leaders. The first thing I do is I start scrolling through my messenger chat and I see all the influx of messages that come to me. And then I want to go reply to all of those people. And guess what? I never get my own done. It's really uncomfortable for me to say, I'm not looking at everything else. I'm literally going to ignore that. I'm going to go to Facebook. I'm going to go to my content. I'm going to do what Kim Ann just said. I'm going to schedule my timer for 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to go do that, be super efficient with my time, write it down. Then I'm going to go check my chats, reply back to everybody. And then I'm going to go back to the ones that I just sent out. And I'm going to see if anybody replied back to me. Because the worst thing you want to do is send those out and not be able to field those messages back when they do reply. So if it's better for you to be like, I'm going to do 3 messages, right? I'm going to try to do like 3 of each. Then I'm going to go field all of my stuff that's coming into me. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do 3 more of each. However you guys want to do that. But it's very easy to get into the position as a leader, especially a new leader, to want to go to Messenger and answer all these questions, because I don't know if any of your people are like this, but I know my team is like this. They'll start a chat and then they'll immediately text me, hey, I just started a chat over here. And then like 10 minutes later, hey, did you see my chat that I just started over here? Because everybody's really excited. And I've just had to say, yes, I've seen it. I'm getting through all my follow-ups. I promise I'll get there. And then of course I have to follow through and go do what I said I was going to do. Kim Ann, during the school year before the rooster crows, at lunch, after work, you're talking exactly what I did for 18 months to get to where I didn't have to teach anymore. But not everybody wants to quit teaching. I was just kind of ready. It was just my time. Not saying that that's right for everyone. But that's the same thing with taking care of kids, right? Or working a job. I used to tell people all the time, well, I still tell people all the time that are working, when you're at your job, you're at your job. Don't try to work your job and work your business. It's horrible. Like, you can't do that. It's not fair to your job, and it's not fair to your business. So, and it's definitely not fair to you. So instead of trying to pull apart something that's not stretchy, right? Your job is not stretchy. It is what it is. Instead of trying to pull it apart and try to figure it all out, just focus on work and then use your nooks and crannies. But do set the timer. So let's go ahead now and we're going to do it again. And you're going to do it this time with, let me find it here. This is something a little bit different. It's called an ACA framework. This can be for people who are engaging with any post that's not related to business. You guys have been telling us that you get a lot more comments on your lifestyle posts, your and just fun posts, like they have nothing to do. Like today, you guys, I put out like, what are the 3 things that you do on Monday? You know, I was tired. I'm not going to lie. I came back from camping. I didn't really have a good content strategy ready to go. And I just needed something that was just going to get out there just to see. And it didn't really go very well. I've also had a week where I was in Facebook jail and I couldn't comment on anybody's feed, and it totally wrecked my algorithm. I was like, what the heck? Why can't I comment? It just totally, it ruined my whole social media. So commenting on posts is a big deal. Anyway, when there's somebody that has a comment on your post, and this has nothing to do, it's just connection content. It has nothing to do with your business, the products, the testimonial, or a proof. And we all have said that we get a lot of this. This is called an ACA framework. Kind of pulling an audible right here because Melissa and I didn't technically talk about it, so I'm just doing it anyway. It's where you acknowledge that they commented on your social media. So same kind of thing, right? Hey, thank you for commenting on my post today. It was so fun to see that you did that, or whatever they said. Compliment them. Maybe, and maybe they've been commenting on your posts a lot. Like you kind of had said that, Kim Ann, you know, people that you haven't talked to, but maybe this is on a different kind of post. Give them a sincere compliment. Like, I love that when I see your posts, I love seeing how you're with your kids or whatever. You might need to go look at their posts before you can give them the compliment. And then you're going to ask them if they've had any interest in, and this one says like your lead magnet. So I don't know if you guys have lead magnets, but another way to do this is you could ask them if they've seen any of your, if they're open to taking a look at how you've been helping people to get healthy. That's just an open, you know, open-ended. I have a 30-day menu that I've created. We have Facebook groups that you can invite them to, right? That can be your lead magnet. A Facebook group can be a lead magnet. So, you know, would you be open to taking a look at my, you know, Facebook group? We talk about recipes. We're doing, like this month, we're doing something with Glow Up Your Summer. It can be really inspirational. You have to share the benefits of it. But this is another one that you can do to get people to just even be interested in your group. And then they say, well, yeah, I love recipes, or, oh gosh, I could definitely use some inspiration for my health, or yeah, I am always, you know, open to learning different things about how I can be healthier or ways that I can feel better. Yeah, I'll take a look at your group. And then you can go invite them. And then after you invite them to the group, you can follow up with them and you can say, hey, I was just curious. Have you checked out the group? What did you think? So we all have a lead magnet that we can all share. It's our testimonial groups. Okay. So it's going to sound like this. Thanks for the comment. Like love on my post today. I see you just took a trip. Here's the compliment. I see you just took a trip with the family. I saw the selfie you posted the other day. So you might have to go look at their post to see what's going on in their world in order for you to give the compliment, right? There's the acknowledge. And then here's that specific compliment. You looked incredible. What's your secret? What have you been doing? You look younger. You deserve win of the Mother of the Year. You guys can figure out this compliment. My general compliment is your posts are just really inspirational. I love seeing your family together. When you guys were on that trip, it just looked like it was a great time. I just don't know how you do it all, right? Like that's just a sincere compliment. Then the ask might be, while I have you, remember this is about directness. Too many times we get into this ongoing conversation about their trip and where they went and everything else. That's not the point of your conversation. You're not there to talk about the trip. You compliment them and you give the ask. While I have you, can I ask a totally unrelated question? Okay. In my business, I help a lot of women who are struggling with aging. I help a lot of women who are struggling with balancing it all and taking care of themselves. I help a lot of women who want to feel really great in their skin, but they're struggling with some of their, personal self-confidence. I help a lot of women who are looking for a way to increase their income, but they don't have a lot of extra time. That would be more of a business, right? And then instead of saying I created a free resource, which is a lead magnet, we will get into lead magnets if you guys don't really know what those are. Instead of saying I created free resource, you would say I have a free Facebook group and we work on, positive self-image, having more confidence. We work on different ways that are going to be healthy options for eating. We work on inspiring and lifting each other up. We work on encouraging one another to take care of ourselves. You guys see where I'm going with this? It doesn't have to be a specific resource. Does that sound like something that you might find helpful? And if they say yes, then definitely go invite them to the group. But then guess what you get to do? They just said that would be helpful. So now you can say, can you tell me a little bit more about your challenges in this area? I'd love to see if I can help. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take, and then we wouldn't have a link. We would just send them to the group. Okay. This is just an idea for your Facebook group. So I want us to stretch our wings just a little bit today and get a little bit more uncomfortable and go ahead and try out this message where we're actually going to talk to somebody who has not, and I'm going to do this with you guys, who has not necessarily ever commented, or I haven't talked to them, and it's on a post that's unrelated to Singular. It's kind of considered more of a cold lead, but it's not really a cold lead because they like you and they know you. They just don't know if they can trust you or if you have what they need. We don't know. And they may say, no, I'm good. Then that's fine. You now know they're not a potential prospect. They're not a lead because they're not interested. And that's all right. You can tell them, thank you for the conversation. Let's stay connected on Facebook. I love seeing your posts. Let's touch base again in the future. And then you just move on. That's okay. Because not everybody's going to be your ideal person. What questions do you guys have? Yeah, Kim Ann.
So, okay, I understand what kind of posts these are that I've made, but these people have liked, loved, commented something on just a general life post I've made. Okay.
Yep.
Thought you
Yeah,
said
this is going to be
and I was like,
similar to like our 333 that you've heard people talk about, but it's more in a transformational way. And it's not like ripping off a Band-Aid, but you are still being direct because you're kind of cutting to the chase. You're asking them, hey, would you have any interest in, and if you have a lead magnet like me, I can say, would you have any interest in looking at my 30-day menu that I created for healthy eating and balance and healthy lifestyle? It's something that, I have found that's helping me with staying on track and, still being on the go. That would be something I could say because I have a lead magnet. But for rest of us, and even for me tonight, I'm just going to use my group because I need to grow my group because our group hasn't been growing. I haven't been adding to my group very much. So I would say use your group. Any other questions? Trying to see if there's any more chat questions. Hey, Regina.
Hi,
All
good
right,
afternoon.
guys. Hi.
Good.
Okay, so guys, we're going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to leave the framework up here for you. Okay, because I can't show you the whole thing. And Regina, if you've printed off the Core 4 challenge, we're in the page that's talking about authentic outreach script for engaged leads on connection content, things that have nothing to do with your business, which you, my friend, are really, really good at. But this is where you're actually going to go start a conversation, and you're not going to get stuck in the friend zone. You're actually going to do an ask, like joining a Facebook group, right? Like they could check out our glow up summer that we have going on. Or you could just in general, our Facebook group that is our testimonial group. But you would name out those benefits. I'm going to see if I can maybe share this a little bit more. It's going to be kind of small, but if I can get it on one page, then maybe you guys can see it. Okay. And this might be in boards. I'm not going to take the time to show you guys that. And I'm going to mute myself. One's harder for me. This one's harder for me because I had to go look at their page. It took time, right? So I had to go look at their wall. She didn't really have much. She's got all this inspirational, but she has like 100 comments on her good mornings. So I'm like, I'm wondering if she has posts that I'm not seeing. She also is a digital creator. So I'm kind of wondering if she's got a business. She's got friends that I'm friends with in Melaleuca. And I'm like, so I'm kind of that. But then there's friends that she's friends with that I know do new skin. So once you get into this, world of social sharing, you start to recognize certain names of people that they're friends with, that you know what they do. But I cannot, she's got 8,800 or 88.8 thousand followers, like 8,000 followers. But you guys, I'm really, truly looking at this and I cannot see, I don't know. She could be with Singular. And I can't even see that because when I look at the friends we have in common, I don't see any Singular friends. But then she has this post. I don't know if you guys can see it. She's holding up what looks like a trim sticks drink. But I don't think it's trim sticks. I think it's something else. But all she says is good night loves. I'm like, who are you? And then other times she just talks about tacos. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I did because I'm really shooting blind here. So, oh, where'd it go? Oh, you're not going to believe this. The whole thing went away. Oh, I couldn't send it to her. It went into you couldn't send it, so she never got it. But this is what it said. So it looks like maybe we're not friends. She's a follower. And so Facebook sometimes won't let you send messages to followers. But this is what I tried. Hey, Melissa, thanks for saying good morning on my post today. I've just been seeing you pop in my feed and you seem super positive. Funny how you talk about tacos solving the problems. I love a good Mexican meal. Since we haven't chatted much, I would love to connect soon. So I didn't go through the whole thing because I don't know her well enough. Like, I don't even know, I didn't feel comfortable to do the ask, but I'm super curious about her. So I was like, we haven't ever chatted, would love to connect. Now I know that I'm going to have to copy that. And I'm actually going to have to figure out maybe really truly who she is because I can't even send her a message. So who knows? And that might be not my person. I don't know. Although I'd love to get in touch with her. So those can take a little bit more. And then the last thing, we're not going to do it tonight, but it's those it's kind of like a non-engaged, but those were people that actually did it. And then the next follow-up is a value-based. We did that last week. That's with the AVA framework. And what you're doing there is you're leading with helping and offering some guidance and support. This is a problem that they've already shared with you. This is a person you're already in conversation with. And I did this last week with several people and it really opened up a lot of conversation. So let me just see if I can go grab an example. So my example was, I acknowledged, I said, hey, Brenda, I've been thinking a lot about our conversation that we had in the beginning when you reached out for help with weight loss. So that was the acknowledgement. The value is I want to offer some support in this area, if that's okay with you. And then I'm going to give her what the support is. I've designed a simple menu, 30-day menu with foods that are easy to make, grab and go, and daily accountability tailored to each person. And then I asked, our goals can change depending on life. What would you say is the most important health goal for you? And she did not reply. She hasn't replied to any of my messages. This is just an example, you guys, of how long I've been following up with her. The last time was April 17th, and she asked, how much would that cost? So I know cost is a concern because that's what she's stuck on. So if I go back to follow up with her again, I'm going to have to do something around cost, right? Like, hey, my menu is completely free. It's 7 days worth. Would you like to give that a try? See if this is something that would help you. Then I would be able to follow up with, did she try the 7-day menu? And what did she think? Did it help? Because I'm trying to build trust with her. Or I might just offer something with value with a small bundle because cost is the problem. I might just simply offer the payment plan with a small bundle that I think could hit her needs. So that was what I tried. And then I had a lot of other people though. One day I sent out 40 and I got 20 replies back. So it does work if they're your person. And those people that reply back, they're the ones that, they want to talk. So you got to keep track of who you're going to go follow up with. The last thing, and it's 7:13, perfect timing, you guys, I want to have you throw in the chat what's going on with your content. And the reason why I'm asking is because I looked at our Google Doc and it's blank. So I can't even know how you guys are doing on your posting because nobody's connected their posts. This is the end of June. And this is where we're supposed to be linking our posts that we're making. And nobody has linked anything since June 20th. So it's okay, although I can't go check it out to see how you're doing, to know like what's happening with your content. So I just want you guys to throw in the chat, how are you doing with, don't worry about the results from the content posting. How are you doing with just posting content? Are you doing it daily? Have you tried the different kinds of posts? Did you use the 14-day challenge and actually try to replicate? And it's okay if you didn't. We kind of are trying to help you guys out because this is a big thing because posting content gets you the leads. If you're not posting content, people don't know what you have. And I want to show you guys a few quick things that I think could help. So Zareta, I would definitely say you want to get into like everyday post on your wall. And then in your stories, you could do, 5 or more stories because your stories really are supposed to be about the day in the life of you. Highlighting a product is great. Highlighting a testimonial is great. But we still want to know who Zareta is because people will buy you more than they'll buy the product. So if they can't connect with you or relate to you or know what's going on in your life and they don't know who you are and you're hiding, I'm not saying you're doing this, but we've done this before. If we're hiding behind somebody's testimonial or we're hiding behind the product or we're hiding behind an uplifting graphic, we are truly hiding. Nobody knows us. So like when I post pictures of me camping, although I can't camp year round, I am letting people know I do love the outdoors. I have grandchildren. I like to ride 4-wheelers. They're getting to know a little bit more about me. And if we're not posting about ourselves, and this isn't just for Zareta, it's for everyone. If we're not posting about ourselves, then, we are missing it. Do you guys know if we're recording right now? I think we're recording. Okay. So I just was curious what your guys, and we have a small group. So does anybody want to unmute and just say, besides Zareta, because she already put it in the chat. Regina, tell me what's going on with posting.
Sorry, I was typing and it wasn't typing fast enough.
No, you're good.
So of course, no excuse here. Still working on the 14-day challenge, and a lot of it I didn't completely understand. I was going to ask you about that tomorrow.
I love that. I love that you're just saying, I don't quite totally get it. That's okay. Anybody else? All right. We have not everybody on here. Some people left it an hour, and that's totally fine. Those of you that are going to follow it up. So the last activity is the last thing you want to do is to create some content. And this is what I would tell you. If you're struggling with the 14-day content, I need you to join the new Rising Stars group. Okay. And it's not that you can't be in this one too, but really that tells me that the new Rising Stars group is a really great group for you to be in, because guess what? We're going to start on Wednesday. The 14-day content, because they've all finished it up and they're ready. And that's where we're moving towards. And so we are going to be doing the 14-day challenge. And we're actually, the intent on Wednesday is to create 2 or 3 posts and have them ready to go starting Thursday, Friday, and then on into the weekend. As far as like knowing how to do them, please don't take this the wrong way. You just do them. That's how I learned how to do them. And I've done it I've done this like 4 or 5 times because, and I'm going to give you guys a little intel. Who in here uses Canva or Chat GPT? Anybody use Canva to make flyers or Chat GPT? No? So in Canva, they now have a thing called Magic Write. You can click open a document. You can give it your ideal person. What are they looking for and what do they struggle with? And you ask them to create a value, connection, proof, an invitation post, and that you want 1 reel and you want 2 posts a day, and you will actually get a whole entire content plan. Yep. Everything is there. Mind blowing. Do you guys want me to show you what it looks like just so you can see the outcome? Okay. So this is the 14-day challenge. And so like for us, if I get ready to write this one, the example is health. I'm going to demonstrate or show something if I do a live and what I could do. Or if it's a written post, I'm going to talk about something that I've done or created or made or, have done in my own, what I do, what I use. And those are really powerful posts. Like I do this, I do that. That's great. And then you switch it over into that they can. Same thing with a failure. You're going to share your failures and what's the lesson you learn. Sometimes less is more. You don't need to make them long and hard and difficult. There's examples for you to click on. You can click on it and then you have to wrap your head around it. But if you think that you're going to do this in the morning in less than 20 minutes and get it posted, you're thinking incorrectly. I'm just going to tell you, it's not going to happen. It requires a little bit of think time. So what you want to do is really work on it the night before so that you can wrap your head around it and then just fine tune it and finish it up and tweak it when you go to click post the next morning. For those of us that are teachers, that's called lesson planning so that you're not punting the next day when you go to work. It's kind of can become a crapshoot if you do it that way. So, or if you're an accountant and you have a business meeting and you have to show somebody the numbers, you're not going to pull out those numbers and try to fumble your way through it in this accounting meeting. They're going to fire you on the spot. They're going to be like, sorry, you're not footing the bill anymore. You're not prepared. So since this is your business, you do have to do the prep time. You do need to write something out, but it doesn't have to be hard and challenging and difficult. And when you get to these, lifestyle posts or business posts, then, if you don't feel like you've had a lot of business wins, then you're going to want to keep it more generalized or talk about something. And that's what we're going to do in the New Rising Stars. We're actually going to create some of this content. We can't write it for you guys, but we're going to walk you through it. So I would say that, and what we're going to do in here moving forward, you guys, is continue the core 4, but you're going to have to come with your list of who you want to go talk to. You're going to have to come, like with the post that the post that you're going to go message people to. You're going to want to have your board, and we're going to try to design our own content with our ideal person in mind. So let me see if Canva will open. And this will be kind of the little bonus, and then we'll be done for the night. And then your assignment is going to be to link your posts still to that document so that we can start looking at them and kind of, yes, we'll make some and we'll post one. We'll for sure make one as part of our Core 4 workshop time, but we're going to look at some, because the only way we get better at conversations and content is by reviewing them so we know how to fix them moving forward, like how we can get better at content. Content takes thought. I mean, we can all grab a graphic for positive encouragement, but to write your own content, which is called writing copy, if you're trying to do it using this idea of a variety of posts, it takes more thought than that. So I had this little blurb that I gave it, and then I did documents, and I asked it to make some, and you can look, I don't know how many I made. Let's see. There's one that I really, really liked. Okay. This is very general. So I asked it to make a reel, like I wanted the hook and I wanted the call to action. And I asked for 2 posts and 1 reel. It gave me 2 reels, 2 posts, and stories, all for one day. I'm never going to do all this in one day, you guys, just so we're clear. But the idea here is that I'm talking to my ideal person, and I could make a reel about struggling with menopause and low energy. Here's how to reclaim the vitality. That could be the hook. Then I'm going to give a few little tips, and then tap to follow for more daily health tips that work. And then my reel would have to be either me talking or pointing or doing or making, or I'd have to have something in that reel. So it's not giving me the actual content for the reel, but I just asked for the hook and the call to action to get my mind going, because I'm struggling with reels. Or discover the power of anti-inflammatory foods and feel younger. Well, I might list out, just by a funny thing, and point at all the different anti-inflammatory foods that you can have, and then say, save this reel for your next grocery run. I'm giving value to somebody so they trust me that I know what the heck I'm talking about for inflammation, because that's my jam. Anti-inflammation, menopause, anti-aging, macros, that's me. I can talk till the cows come home on those 3 topics, till you're blue in the face and you want to shut me up and not talk to me anymore. So the post, though, is different, right? So here's the hook: feeling drained. Here's how natural supplements can help. Now, that might be better for an Instagram post, to be very honest, because Instagram's a little different. Comment energy if you're ready to feel alive again. People comment energy, and then I'm going to go talk to them in the DMs about that. So it's not giving me the content of the post. I still have to work on that. So this was one. And then I loved the stories, though, you guys. A day in the life, your morning routine, breakfast with the anti-inflammatory foods, maybe a workout session, and then I could share some tips and I could engage with polls and questions. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do that in stories. Like, that's so easy. So it went on, and it gave me something for 30 days, because I also said that I want to work with women who want to create an extra income supplemental to their current work to provide them quality time, flexibility of time, and they love to travel. So it actually dripped in here healthy travel tips for women over 40. because I want people that want to travel. That's what we do. And I love the fact that they love to travel. So if somebody, comments on that or likes my reel, I can actually go back to that person and say, hey, thank you so much for liking my reel. I'm curious, where's your next trip? Where are you going? Where do you want to go? What do you love doing? So it's lead generation. That's all it is. So it went on and it gave me, let's see, gave me day 5. And then it just says, maintain the balance of it and just keep like recycling. So it wasn't 30 days worth, but it got my brain flowing more than anything. And then, let's see, might have been this one. Let's see if it worked. Nope. Ooh, that got really big. Okay. So this one was 2 reels and 2 posts, and it was interesting because the content kind of ended up similar. But once again, feeling overwhelmed with menopause symptoms, you're not alone. And then the content of it, this one actually is content. Share a personal story or a testimonial from a client experiencing the same struggles. We could get those probably from our results groups. But if you have a customer, you can talk about how you helped that customer. That's kind of an untapped market right now, is how you help somebody to, through their challenge. And then you can actually ask people to share their experience or their tips with menopause. People love to tell their story. And that's considered by Canva. I don't know if I'd agree, but it was considered a connection post. I think it could be. It's more kind of almost of a proof post. And then a value post, it's the top 5 anti-inflammatory foods that every woman over 40 should know. I'd list and describe a few of their foods and their benefits and ask them to save the post for the next grocery trip. It's a call to action. It's a call to do something, because when you get people that start saving your posts or sharing your posts, your algorithm goes through the roof and you now become somebody that people want to go follow. And that is a total value post. So if you want to do like 2 posts a day, that's what you could do. Or you could say, well, I'm just going to do 1 post a day and get really good at that. But then it gave a list of stories.
That's a
So
question.
yeah.
Okay, so if you scroll back up to where you just were, or leave it right there. Just when you're talking
Yep.
about making a post and you're saying hook, content, and call to action, is this all you on a video verbalizing all of this? Like, or is the hook something that's typed and then the content is you talking, or is it just typed out? What are we talking about here?
I personally see it, just because this is how I make content, it's all a static post.
Okay.
It's all written out.
Okay.
Now, could that become alive though? Absolutely. You could make that a live post and offer that value, and you could list out and talk real quickly about the foods and their benefits.
Sure.
And you could say, drop in the comments which tip was your favorite, or which tip, or
Yeah.
which food in here would you put on your next grocery list. I can't wait to hear. And that's their call to action. And they're just starting to engage with your lives. And the more you get that, the more people are going to see, because live video people are going to consume more than static posts. So I would say you get to interpret that post however you want. You could do it static, printed, or you could do live. Good question. So I'm not saying that everybody in here wants to run over to Canva, but what I'm saying is, whether it's Canva or Chat GPT, if you tell Canva or Chat GPT, and I'm sorry that I thought I put it in my notes the other day because I was going to show it to you guys, but if you can identify who you're talking to and what their needs are and how you can help them and what you can give them to solve their problem, right? What are they looking for? Then it will actually help you to create your content. So we don't have to, or you can just simply do the content challenge, right? Let's see, where did that go? And you can rinse and repeat. You just do it again, but you're going to switch it up. But it's all, it's the same kind of thing. So if you're not in New Rising Stars and you would really like the support with the content, that's the group that I would be in. If you feel like, no, I've done the 14-day content, I'm ready to go. I want to create my own content. I really want to figure out how to be the master of my own, but use these 4 different kinds and just start, you're just getting better at it, then this is the group that you want to stay in, because we're going to do, the core 4. And if you're a leader, you might find it's beneficial to be in both so that you can be by your downline side while they're going through their 14-day challenge. And you could do it with them. You could say, hey, look, I didn't really get my 14-day done either. Let's do it together. I'm going to do mine. You do yours. Let's be, buddies in this. That's another fun thing to do with your downline. But I really want to honor time, and it's 7:30. Canva is an app, but Cree, if you haven't done the 14-day challenge and done it like every single one of them, I really don't want you to worry about Canva right now. I would be focusing on just going through this with us in the New Rising Stars, because I know you're in that group. But Canva is an app, but you can also do it on the computer. All right. I want to make sure you guys get questions answered and that you understand the homework, but otherwise we did some action. We looked at how you can make content, and the moving forward with the month of July, it's truly staying in action. Like you guys just said, like, I've got to chunk my time. I want to stay in action and I don't want to slow down, just being consistent. Like, I'm going to the mountains for 4 days. I have no cell service. It's gonna about kill me. So you can schedule your posts on Facebook. Even though you can't like warm up the algorithm, you can schedule them. So like, I'm going to write mine out and I'm going to schedule them. Never done that before, but I'm going to do it. And because I got to stay present, I can't do any of my stories. So for 4 days, I'm going to have no stories. And that means I have to build my algorithm all back up again when I come back. So it is what it is. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. But when I come back, I know I'm going to have some work to do. Can't control it. All right. Okay. Are you guys good? All right. Awesome. Thanks for sticking to the end. I really appreciated you guys participating tonight. Thank you, Zareta, Cree, Regina, and Kim Ann. I really appreciate it. Hey, Kim Ann, I'm going to probably message you. I've been waiting for that gal to message me back. They're on a trip, but I definitely want to get you guys connected. So I sent her my message, but they're traveling right now. Okay, cool. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.